Thank you. First off, got to excuse my voice a little bit. Been a little under the weather since we got here. It's great to see everybody. We're excited to be here. You know, it's a special event. Anytime you make a BCS Bowl, it's a great event. We're excited about our opponent, playing a really, really good team in Oklahoma. We have a lot of respect for their staff. We've actually visited a lot of off seasons with their staff and their team. They come from a great conference, and they present a lot of great challenges with some of the things they do offensively, especially their ability to run the ball. I want to thank the Sugar Bowl committee for having us. It's a wonderful bowl. I've been very fortunate, 38 years old, and this is my 5th Sugar Bowl to be a part of. Actually, was a part of one in Atlanta during the Katrina move when I was at University of Georgia. So really excited about being back in the Sugar Bowl. I'm proud of our defense, our players this year. Overcome a lot of adversity on defense. We had 3 season-ending knee injuries to what were really starters at one time or another. Each one of them had started games and overcame that. Been through a couple suspensions, a couple other injuries that weren't season-ending, and have had really a rotating starting lineup. But as any coach, you're trying to improve, and we're trying to improve defensively, and we're trying to continue that through our bowl game. But we really want to send these seniors out, CJ, Ed, a lot of the guys on the defensive front, been with us a long time. We want to send those guys out the right way, send them out with a victory because they've been great leaders for us. At this time, I'll open it to questions.
We'll start on the third row here, and then we'll switch to the left side. Go ahead.
Morning, Coach. I'm Ken Rogers with the Dothan Eagle.
Good to see you, Ken.
Did want to ask you about CJ. You know, we've seen him make plays, but when you turn on the film, does he get better? Or you know, what do you see from him?
I tell you what, CJ has made me a great coach the last 4 years. You know, certainly have not made him a great player. He's made me a great coach. You know, a lot of people say that you know, the linebackers find the ball. Well, it seems like with CJ, the ball finds him because he's always there, makes a lot of plays. What's really amazing about CJ Mosley is that you can rarely find a play where he ever loafs. And he plays on special teams. You know, he started on kickoff return to start the season. He's played on every punt. He's such a terrific player, but even more so a player. I mean, a person. I've been very fortunate to coach the guy and may not ever coach another guy quite like him because he's so athletic. He allows you to do more things defensively, and you can put him in tough situations, and he seems to play himself out of them.
Left side, first row of tables.
Gary Eslick, New Orleans Baton Rouge Advocate. Coach, in a bowl game like this where so much is on the line, is there any, talking about the pressure, self-inflicted or outside the program, is there any less pressure being a coordinator versus the head coach? Is it less? Is it more? Is it all the same?
Well, it's a tough situation. I'm obviously not a head coach and haven't been a head coach. So to say what kind of pressure that they're under, they obviously have to take responsibility for the total team effect of things, and Coach Saban does a good job. Whether we play good or bad on defense, good or bad on offense, good or bad on special teams, he takes the responsibility and takes the blame. But certainly as a coordinator, there's a lot of pressure during the game to make the right calls, to put the kids in good situations, and make good in-game adjustments so that you're not exposing the kids to a lot of risk. And that's what we're always trying to do. So whether it's pressure or not in this game, it's pressure in every game. So for us, you know, playing in the SEC, it's like that week in, week out. So we kind of come to anticipate that.
Third row, far right side.
Coach over here.
Yeah.
Tommy Dees, Tuscaloosa News.
Hey, Tommy.
It seems like you've gone through the entire season without settling one of the cornerback spots. Have you ever had that happen, and,
No.
and where are you now with that, and what are the reasons behind that?
Well, we have not had that. We are not used to that. We've kind of always had one key guy with all the, you know, the first round, second round corners we've had. We've always had a staple guy there, and then kind of an understudy that was the other one who was an up-and-coming corner. It hasn't been that way this year. It's been frustrating. Some of that's been because of injury. You know, Deion, we feel like is our best corner, but he's been in and out because of injury. And then opposite him, it's been musical chairs. Eddie Jackson played pretty well, but he also got injured, so it pulled him out for a while. Have other guys play well one game, not play well the next. We have not gotten the consistency we want out of that position, and we don't have the depth that we've had in the past. So it's been a struggle. A couple of the kids have done well in bowl practice. We hope they play well in the game since they practice well. So that's what we're looking forward to seeing.
Back over to the left side. I think it's the third row of tables.
Yeah, kind of following up about that couple guys, HaHa and Deion. Just one, what did you see from HaHa with going through what he went through this season with the suspension and how he bounced back from that? And two, Deion Belue, just what kind of pain he's been playing throughout the year and what he's been able to bring to you when he has been able to play.
Sure. Deion's given us some consistency. He's a veteran. He understands the defense. So with him out there, I think a lot of guys feel more comfortable, and he has fought really hard throughout the year with injuries. Had weeks where he couldn't practice, but still was willing to go out and play in the game, which is tough to do mentally and physically. So anything we can get out of Deion's a bonus with his injuries and the things he's pushed through. With HaHa, he did a good job of staying into things when he was suspended. He stayed in meetings. He really stayed and focused on what he had to do assignment-wise and didn't lose that focus, so that when he was granted the ability to come back, he stayed in tune with things and was right back in the mix.
Back to the right side, front row.
Kirby Guerin, Emick of the Tulsa World. I think a lot of folks see Coach Saban as a masterful coach. They don't necessarily see him as a real warm person, sort of detached from his players. I take it you might be able to paint a different picture of him for me.
Sure, no doubt. Coach, maybe one way in this room, in this seat with the media, but with our players, it's a whole lot different, especially day in, day out operations. He loves going and coaching. He loves coaching kids. So to be in the meeting room, whether he's in the meeting room with DBs or he's in the meeting room with special teams, he has a different personality, has a passion for the game. The kids see that. So the kids see a different side than what maybe public perception is. Therefore, they have a different feeling towards him with daily interaction. They know how passionate he is the game. They want to play well for him, and they feel that way. And you see it a lot more when you're in there day to day, and it makes it a lot easier. Obviously, media doesn't get that because he gives y'all a different perception sometimes.
Left side, front row.
Kirby, Ted Lewis, New Orleans Advocate. You were talking about being in a settled position. Oklahoma hasn't declared your starting quarterback yet. How much extra work is that giving y'all to do, prepare for two different guys, and how do you think that dynamic is going to play out?
Well, anytime you prepare for an offense, you got to be ready for the backup. With these guys, you really got three guys that have played, so we've had to prepare for three quarterbacks. There are some similarities between the guys, and there's also some differences. We've emphasized those to our players so that they understand the difference in the two really quarterbacks that they've used the most. And for us, preparation-wise, we just got to know which one's in. We've had enough time because of the amount of time between the games that you can prepare for both. Whereas in a week, it's a lot tougher. You got to turn around quicker and you got to get ready faster. So the time allows us to have kind of a plan for both guys. But obviously, you'll find out during the game which one's playing better. They'll have one in there probably more than the other, depending on how they're playing.
Staying on the left side, the fifth row of tables. Go ahead.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Kirby, for those of us that were sitting at home watching the Auburn game, sure. The end was, sort of science fiction. What was it like being in the middle of it when you see the field goal and then all of a sudden you see the guy running? And what was that like? Was it surreal? What were your emotions? And did you know what was even happening?
Surreal and sickening all together. Obviously before the timeout, we all saw as coaches the return guy back there. So the emphasis was put on covering the kick because we knew there was a possibility if it didn't get through the end zone that they would have a chance to return it. So to see him catch it and then get past that first wave, I mean, it was over about the 50, and we knew that. So it went from surreal to sickening. It's a bad feeling, especially as a coach, to not be able to do anything or have a game end that way. But it's part of life, it's part of the game. It's one of those things you live and learn from, and don't make the same mistake twice.
Left side, third row. Go ahead.
Aaron Suttles, Tuscaloosa News. Coach, you really see players physically developed as like a freshman, like Shaun Robinson. Just wondering what your thoughts were the first time you got him on the practice field and what kind of progress he's made this season.
Well, I wondered where his whistle was because he looks like a coach. He's about 28-looking-year-old dude. But when we recruited him, we always thought he was going to be a special player, big size, speed guy, really what you want athletically, and didn't know how developed he would be technically on the field because he's a real raw, talented guy. He's come a long way, and he still has a long way to go. but he is a talented young man, and he's worked his tail off this year to contribute, especially mentally, picking up the defense early on. He's a very intelligent young man. He took pride in knowing his assignments, and I can remember in the Texas A&M game, there was some frustration during the week of practice that, man, I don't know this call, I don't know that call. When he gets in the game, he plays fast. He plays very athletic, and he's a huge added bonus for us in an area where we were not as deep as we usually are. We don't have as much depth on the defensive line that we've always had. Without he and Jonathan Allen, we really would have had a hard time this year getting through at the D-line position.
We have time for one more question for Coach Smart, if there is one. We'll keep it on the left side, third row of tables.
Michael Cascaranda, AL.com. Just how much do these bowl games become auditions for some of the younger guys for next year, and which guys are you keeping an eye on this week?
Well, certainly the biggest thing for the bowl game is to win the game and send the seniors out the right way. For the preparation for the bowl, it's a chance for us to look at the younger players and try to get those guys ready. So not that I anticipate these young men playing in the game, but they have improved. Dylan Lee, Reuben Foster, Reggie, Maurice Smith, Eddie Jackson, a lot of the young guys have improved during bowl practice because they've been able to get really an extra 15 practices, like a bonus spring practice, to get ready for next year or possibly this game in some role they could each play. So we're excited about them.
Okay. Thank you, Coach Smart.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Once again, the following Alabama players are available next door: Deion Belue, HaHa Clinton Dix,